the most consequential US election in a generation. And while President Donald Trump is not on the ballot, his presence looms large.
The Democrats have become an angry, unhinged mob determined to get power by any means necessary.
A vote to determine who controls the House of Representatives and the Senate.
While they are distracting you with this fear-mongering, they're robbing you blind.
Can Democrats mount a credible challenge to take back control of Congress? Or will the president's base provide enough of a buffer to thwart a possible blue wave? November 6th is D-Day for Republicans and Democrats. The SABC Foreign Desk will bring you comprehensive coverage of election 2018. SABC News, independent and impartial.
Well, Americans may not be choosing a new president on November 6th, but many may see the U.S. midterm elections as a referendum on the current one. It's not just a popularity poll. The result could determine whether President Donald Trump will be able to get any of his agenda passed into law and even whether he could face impeachment proceedings. His Republican Party faces a battle to maintain control of both the chambers of Congress and stave off a fight back from the Democrats. From Washington, Kate Fisher brings us this report.
Tony takes his mobile home turned shop to every President Trump rally he can.
What we have is a variety of Trump merchandise. Anything with Trump on it, anything with American flag on it, anything.
He says business is good and Republicans are fired up to vote in the midterms.
Go Trump!
I'm going to tell you, the people are going to show up. Because I talk to people, they're going to vote. They're going to show up. And things are decided by the people that do show up.
And that's why Trump's here in Pennsylvania. He needs to make sure his supporters vote, even when he's not on the ballot.
And we will make America great again.
Part of his strategy, stoking fear of what could happen if Republicans don't win.
And I say this and I mean this. The Democrats are the party of crime. That's what's happened. They are the party of crime.
Typically in midterm elections, it's anger and fear rather than satisfaction that tends to motivate voters. Because fear and anger works in midterm elections, Republicans are working to stoke fear and anger. They're not running on their tax cuts. They're not running on their deregulation. They're running on scaring voters about what would happen if the Democrats took over.
They're not the only ones. Former Democratic President Barack Obama is back on the campaign trail and not mincing his words.
This November's elections are more important than any I can remember in my lifetime, and that includes when I was on the ballot. That's saying something. Politicians say every time, this is the most important election. This one's really that important. The stakes are high. The consequences of anybody here not turning out and doing everything you can to get your friends, neighbors, family to turn out, the consequences of you staying home would be profoundly dangerous to this country.
Opinion polls suggest the Democrats do have a strong chance of taking over in at least one chamber of Congress, but many Trump voters don't buy it.
All the polls are saying that the Dems are going to win and blue wave is coming. They also said that Hillary was going to win by a landslide. Right. So you can't believe the polls. No. It is going to be a full-blown red wave like you've never seen before.
Okay, it's been great.
Political analyst Amy Walter has been talking about it in her weekly podcast. She says the Democrats may not want to risk riling up Trump's supporter base even more.
The Democratic leadership has been very upfront in saying we do not want to start impeachment proceedings unless or until there's enough evidence. So, for example, what if the president were to fire the attorney general? What if the president were to fire the person who's heading oversight of the Mueller investigation, Rod Rosenstein? What would Democrats do then?
These Trump loyalists are hoping they never have the chance to find out.
We need to keep the Senate and the House. That's absolutely imperative.
Yeah. I just like the way Trump puts things out to the people. He's working to help the people, and I like that.
I just like everything he stands for. I like what he says. I like what he does.
But do enough people like what he does? The answer will determine the direction of his next 2 years in office.
It's control of this place which is up for grabs. If Republicans win, it will embolden President Trump. But if Democrats win, it will give them oversight over his presidency. Kate Fisher, SABC News, Washington.